Hello everyone, it's Mark Berger coming to you from the 13th floor with another episode of Things to Do Inside when there's a pandemic outside. Yes, I gotta mention it. Today's episode, this month's project, is a pillbox. And it's a box with a lid that opens. And then there are little boxes inside that hold a week's worth of anything you like, gummy bears, pills, what have you. And if you're a member of the EDOS, you will have found in the mail a package with enough material to make 3 different colored models. Now let's look at what's inside that package. Well, I put in some square paper. It's about 118 millimeters square, and that's for the little boxes. I also put inside, you'll find this little square, and that is we're going to use to make a template so that we can make a neat cubic shaped Masu box. And then you'll also find the 3, here's a bonus, 3 papers, and I had to fold them to fit in the envelope. And don't forget, in the blue acanthus paper, there's these little strips which we're going to use later to make the bottom of the inside of the Masu box. So we got 3 things to make. We have the box itself. Thank you, Marita. We have the little Masu boxes, of which you'll need 7, but I'll show you how to make 1. And then finally, there's the strip of paper that goes in on the bottom. Okay, now, you can practice on any rectangular sheet of paper. Here, for instance, is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of printer paper. And here's the result from folding it. You'll see the proportions are different from the paper I sent you, but it's a good idea to practice with the printer paper first. All right. So here's a little diagram of all the creases. So here's a piece, I cut it to the size. And here I did a little diagram showing you where we're going to do all the folds. You'll notice we're going to make 8 rows upside down. No,
okay,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
6,
got it,
7,
yes.
8.
8 rows.
8 rows, and then we're going to divide up into little 2 columns on the end. So we got narrow column, big column, narrow column. Okay? And the version that I saw, it's a very good idea, but it involved having to measure the width of all these rows, and I'd rather not have to measure. I'd rather cut. So follow me along and I'll show you what we're going to do. Actually, I'm going to use one of the papers in the envelope. Okay, so it will have come folded in half. And you'll notice that we're folding it the long way, not the short way, the long way. And now we're going to keep dividing it up. You see, we've already divided it up into 2, and now we're going to divide it into 4. Basically, we're doing cabinet folds. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So we've divided it into 4. Now we're going to start dividing it into 8. You notice I do the outside flaps first. And then we're going to unfold everything. And you see, these at the ends here are perfect. But now we need to divide here and here. And we do that by folding one of the end flaps in. And then we bring the bottom of the paper up to that edge. And you see, there's another one. And then we turn it around, fold this edge down, bring the raw edge to that. Okay, so now we have 8 rows. Does that sound right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to flip the model over. And you see, we're going to make these little folds on the corners. And you notice we're lining up the paper right to the crease. And one pair we're going to do something with, the other end we're just going to use that for measuring the proper width of that column. So you see, we're going to take the height of this row and we're going to use that dimension by folding this in to get the width of the column. So we got our corners folded in, and now on the other side we're going to make a crease where that edge comes to an end. Okay. We don't need the corners folded anymore. So you see, that's a square. The height is equal to the width. And now we'll do the same on the other side. And there we go. Now, we only need a sheet of paper that is 7 columns wide, 7 rows high. So we're going to cut off the bottom row, including the 2 corners. And this we don't need anymore. There we go. You see, if we wanted to divide by 7, we'd need to take a ruler. Or there are other ways to do it, but this is the least complicated. I call my version of the pillbox the model Simplified. Now, where we still have the folded corners, this is going to form the lip of the lid. So we're going to fold that in half. We're going to take this edge and fold it to crease. Okay, now we're going to briefly unfold it, fold the corners back in, and fold that down. Okay. All right, now we're going to fold in the end columns like so. And now we're going to form the box. Now it's going to go, you see we have one end coming up and then it goes down and around the bottom. So it's going to look like this. So here's the front, here's the back of the front, and here's the bottom of the box. Now we need to bring the sides up, and in order to do that, we make a diagonal crease like so. So that is 1, 2, the third from the bottom, and it's a crease that goes from the upper left to the lower right. You'll see that on the diagram that's right here. So we cut off bottom row, and now we have 1, 2, 3, and we make that crease. And we're going to do the same on the opposite corner. I thought I'd get through this without making a mistake, but apparently not. Okay, so now we're going to, we've folded the box. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have this and we folded this so the sides are coming up, and then we take and fold this in like so. All right, and now we're going to do a similar kind of thing for the lid. It's going to be, you see, kind of an arrow. One diagonal this way, one that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fold, and these are all mountain folds. Let's just do it like this so that there's less confusion. Okay. So we're folding this corner of the lid out to the side, and we did that on both sides. And now to make the opposite end of the arrow, we're going to fold like this.
Hard to see. There you go. I got it.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we got these two folds, we got this fold, so we go up, we go in, and that locks sides in place. And now we're going to push these in like so. And in order to get a nice, smooth working lid, I suggest you mountain fold this like that. Okay. And then finally reverse that crease and fold it in like so. Let's do that again quickly. Okay, so we got the paper, we fold in the ends, we lift up the sides here. This is at the third row from the bottom. We tuck that in, okay, and we tuck these in like so and bring it around. Like that.
Hold it down. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and make the Masu boxes that go inside. And here I'm going to use bigger paper so that you can see a little better. This is the actual size, but we're going to make one a little bigger. Now, the first thing we want to do is make our template. And you don't have to do any cutting because I already did it for you. But the template is the size of the square of paper after we've blitzed it when we're making the Masu box. And actually what that does is it creates another sheet of paper that's exactly 1/2 the area of the original. Notice it's not 1/4 of the area, 'cause like if you were to just fold like this in half, and then you fold this in half, and see each corner is only going to be 1/4 of a sheet. I tell you that because I've made that mistake before. Okay, so here we have the paper that we blitzed, and now we're going to cut the corners. You see, Mark Berger doesn't cut corners in his origami work. Well, here I am doing it. As usual with these letter cutters, if it doesn't want to go one way, reverse the crease and just maybe it'll still cut. There we go. Okay. Now the cubic box is made up into thirds. So what we're going to have to do is take the square of paper and, I'm sorry, thank you. We're going to have to take the template and we're going to do an S curve. I know you don't like to do that, but it's okay. You notice sometimes the paper will go easier one way than it does the other. Like, see, this one was so easy and this one was more difficult. It has to do with the paper grain, even though we made this diagonal. Anyway, so we divided it into thirds and then we take that and fold it over. That is our finished template. So we got 2/3, 1/3. Now let's make the Masu box. So we're blitzing the sheet of paper. And you notice I do that by first folding the square both ways in a reverse kind of book fold. I find it the tidiest way to get a neat job. Okay, so now we take the template and we put our paper into the template, make sure it goes all the way in, and now take this edge and bring it to the inside edge of the template. There we go. And that now is exactly 1/3. So that's 1/3, 2/3. You don't really need the template anymore after that because we're going to take this edge and bring it up to the crease. So we've divided it into thirds in one direction. And now you see the intersection of the diagonal and the vertical. We're going to take the edge again and bring it up to those 2 points. Can you see that on the camera? Okay. So there we go. That's one. Now we rotate it and we go the next raw edge to that crease. And there we go. We got a 9x9 grid. We're going to reinforce the sides, and then we go in. Let's see if I can do it backwards. No, let's do it. Okay. So we fold it in one side over the other, and since it's a cube, these points are going to go all the way to the corner. And then we fold it down and give it a good crease. Here we go again. One side, the other side, and over and down. And here's a larger version of the one that actually goes into the box. Okay, now let's look at the strip of paper that goes into the bottom. Here's some little Masu boxes. Here's a strip, and I cut this strip so that it would fit exactly into the one dimension of the box. Now you'll notice that with all the paper folding, it's a cube on the outside, but inside it's more like it's almost a square, but it's really more like a rectangle. So to get those little pieces to fit in, I cut a strip of paper for you, which is the height of the box in one direction. You'll notice it's different in the other direction. All right, so again, we're going to take the strip and we're going to divide it into eighths. Okay, now it's in quarters. And now we're going to fold the ends in like so. Make sure you've unfolded this. Bring the two edges together, give it a crease. Fold this end down, hold it together, and crease. Okay, so now we've got 8.
Turn it around, it's easy to see. Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to cut them apart. And what I'd like to do, you'll notice that I like to keep the order of the sheets on the bottom, so that repeats the pattern, keeps it in order.
This is the best to see.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but I'll just do a little sample here. So we're going to take one piece, we're going to cut it off, and we're going to place it inside. Now, I like to use tweezers to snugly get it in on the bottom. Do they match up?
Yep.
Kind of, yeah?
Yeah, you can see still the tip from the one leaf going into the box of the other.
Okay. Okay, so no?
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the pillbox, and I've given you enough material so that you can make 3, one for the morning, one for the evening, and another one you can give away to a friend. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.